transformation and inner awakening. A few words about Svabhaa Foundation. Svabhaa Foundation was started 3 years ago by like-minded individuals from varied professional backgrounds with an intent to promote Bharatiya culture, tradition and heritage. Svabhaa means self-illuminated. Swayam Bhati iti Svabhaa. Our tagline is from the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karmanyaiva hi samsiddhihi, which means by action alone one can attain perfection. Drawing inspiration from our scriptures and Sanatana Dharma, Svabhaa Foundation endeavors to create spaces for learning, reflection and collective upliftment. We conduct chanting classes, Vedas and Upanishad discourses, organize talks, events and workshops by renowned scholars. We have published Sanskrit Shloka book, Suktam book, and shortly we are coming up with Puja Vidhana book. We invite you to join Svabhaa in our humble endeavor to participate, to contribute, volunteer and strengthen shared commitment for sustaining Sanatana Dharma. Like every year, we have Dr. Guha Vishwanath sir, a prolific speaker, a Sanskrit scholar, a Jyotisha expert, a speaker par excellence, who will speak on Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. A warm welcome to you, sir. We will have an online discourse on understanding the essence of interpretation of Śrī Rudram, also known as Rudra Prashna, one of the most sacred and powerful hymns of Vedas. This talk is an introductory talk to the online discourse that will follow from March 1st, 2026. We also welcome our online viewers, and we have live online streaming of this talk. Once again, a warm welcome to you all. Dr. Guha Vishwanath sir is known to all of you. However, I'll formally introduce him. Dr. Guha Vishwanath is a versatile Sanskrit scholar and educator based in Mysore, recognized for his multilingual instruction of Sanskrit Shastras and deep expertise in Vedic literature, Indian philosophy, astrology, and classical Sanskrit poetics. He currently serves as adjunct professor at the Department of Heritage Sciences, IIT Hyderabad, and is chief astrology consultant at Vivek Spiritual Sutra Private Limited, besides leading a research project on Ramakatha funded by the Ministry of Education. Dr. Guha sir holds a PhD from Banaras Hindu University with research focused on Samvadas in the Valmiki Ramayana and multiple postgraduate degrees in Sanskrit literature and Jyotisha with distinction. Over his academic career, he has taught at esteemed universities including Kameshwara Singh Dharbanga Sanskrit University and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, and has provided independent instruction in Vedas, poetics and astrology since 2005. His research portfolio includes project leadership, publication of scholarly articles and books, and ongoing work translating significant Sanskrit texts into regional languages. An active participant and convener in numerous national and international seminars, Dr. Vishwanath sir is also associated with institutions and yoga foundations worldwide, offering advanced lectures in Upanishads, yoga and Sankhya philosophy. His core skills encompasses advanced Jyotisha analysis, Sanskrit literature and curriculum design, while his creative pursuits include publishing, audiovisual content and participation in traditional and modern knowledge dissemination. Over to you, Vishwanath sir, and a warm welcome to you all.
भागिनगं सन्तमथा भागञ्चिकीर्षति अभागमग्ने तङ्कुरु मामग्ने भागिनं कुरु नमो ब्रह्मणे धारणं मे अस्त्वनिराकरणं धारयिता भूयासं कर्णयो श्रुतं माच्योढ्वं ममामुष्य ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय बिन्दुनादान्तरात्मने आदिमध्यान्तशून्याय गुरूणां गुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओङ्कारपञ्जरशुकीम् उपनिषदुद्यानकेलिकलकण्ठीम् आगमविपिनमयूरीम् आर्याम् अन्तर्विभावये गौरीम्। My heartfelt pranamas to Parameshwara and to the grand lineage of our gurus that has held this entire Sanatana Samskriti together. So, and it's so nice to see some of the most familiar faces that I'm used to. Fortunately or unfortunately, they don't feel the same about me. It's been third year running and they still have me on the cards, which is quite good to know. And it's very heartening to be associated with the Svabhaa Foundation. And by default, I was telling Dr. Savita ji in the beginning that by default, I have this on my schedule, on my calendar, that Shivaratri means Bangalore. Bangalore first program, first event on Shivaratri is Svabhaa Foundation. So that's how it's always been there in my mind. And we have covered a couple of topics on the eve of Shivaratri or on the day of Shivaratri in the previous 2 years. One was about the way Kalidasa has seen Shiva, and the another one was a general introduction to Shiva Tattva itself. This time we are taking it a notch ahead. The title is taken from a very popular saying, because at the end of this talk and at the end of the event, when we all finish being immersed in this devotion and go back home, I want one line to resonate with all of us today. That is Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah Vedadhyayi Sada Shivaha. That is the line. But it's too big for a title, isn't it? So I thought that maybe half of it should be title. The other half, you will get it. We don't require a sequel for this. So I have already revealed Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2, both of it has been revealed to you in the first line itself. So I have given you the conclusion in the beginning itself. So you can expect whatever you get after this is an absolute bonus, because if we understand what exactly these two lines mean, Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah Vedadhyayi Sada Shivaha, there is such a deep connection between Veda and Shiva and Veda, and it has prompted our Maharshis, it has prompted our great sages to claim that there is no difference that exists between Veda and Shiva. When they say Veda is Shiva and Shiva is Veda, why do you have to say it twice? Like in Kannada we have that popular saying, no, Nine Nanu Nane Nino. So why do you have to say the second line? Isn't the first line sufficient enough? Is it not giving you the comprehension that Veda is Shiva, finished? Why do you have to say that Shiva is Veda? That is the question that which we will answer. But before that, there is a very popular saying in English literary criticism where they say that if you ever want to conduct civilizational studies, okay, we have to draw somewhere, no, what is the beginning point? So we are all assembled here. We all celebrate, we all observe today as Mahashivaratri. and like-minded people who may not even know one another, we all have assembled here today. To what do we owe this sort of an assembly? It is all because of our rishis and the samskriti, the tradition that they set forth, and we have been simply walking that path, and it is our sincere walk on that path which has led us today here, where we all have assembled for Shivaratri. They say that Shivaratri is such a parva, it is such an occasion, it is not a festival first and foremost. Okay, it is not a habba, it is not a parva, it is a vrata. There is a huge difference between a festival and a vrata. People will remember that. Okay. Festival means wake up at 8 o'clock at least. Okay. And then after hearing so many scolds from the elders in the family, finally get a shower. And eventually do some magic quickly. 2 minutes to 10 minutes is the duration that we spend with the deities there. And then feast. Festival is associated with feast. As if there are not sufficient cafes around Bangalore, especially the southern part of this. Okay. So we are always looking forward for some feast. And some people also come up with this audacity, and they say that none other than Kalidasa himself has said that Utsava priyah khalu manushyaha. Kalidasa says that people, generally human beings, they have a tendency to celebrate. Utsava priyaha manushyaha. So see, we are just celebrating. I'll tell you a couple of things that are absolutely wrong with the way we are celebrating. As I was coming to Bangalore, I was having a chat with one of my friends, and they have joined online as well. So, here they are. Okay, I don't know. I don't get to see them. So, I just looked at the camera. I was having a chat with him, and we happened to accidentally see one of the reels where the way the younger generation perceives festival and celebration of festivals. On one side, we must feel proud that so many youngsters are embracing our culture. Really? Are we sure that they are embracing the culture that our ancestors passed on to us? Would our rishis approve that? RERA approved, DTCP approved. So, everybody wants a plot, but they want a plot that is RERA approved. You can't go and buy a plot that is not RERA approved, because you will end up in some trouble. So similarly, it's a good thing, it's a fantastic thing that we are embracing our culture, but is the culture that we are embracing truly Maharshi approved? Is it approved by rishis? Then in order to do that, in order to get that answer, we need to ask this question: what is the vision of rishis for our Samskriti, and how have we changed it? What is our idea of Shivaratri? This is not today's problem. It has been a social problem for a very long time. Shivaratri is a vrata. Okay, what is it that we have to do during Shivaratri? Jagaranam. We have to stay awake. By hook or crook, I have to stay awake. What will I do to stay awake? Have a cup of coffee. Maybe, plural, have cups of coffee. Or chat with friends, go around the city. Not that these ideas cannot be turned into a good cause, but the very fundamental idea, we have got it wrong. There is no Shiva tattva here. There is no divinity associated with every activity that we do. An action without divinity. Back to my famous line. When I run out of new creative ones, I go back to my arsenal, pick the best popular one. Any activity without divinity is as useless as what is going to come next. UE in Q. You will get it. Those who are hearing me for the first time, you will get it slightly delayed, but those of you who have been listening to me, you know that this is the only thing he will say. As useless as UE in Q. You know the spelling of Q, right? QUE. Nobody knows in the entire world what that UE is doing there. It has got no purpose at all, but it is still there. So, I'm doing all the activities. I woke up today, I am observing Shivaratri, I am celebrating Shivaratri, no divinity associated with it. So is my Shivaratri going to be considered or is going to get the approval of rishis? I'm afraid to say that it won't. Why did I begin my talk with this approval, rishis and all these things? Because they are very akin to Veda. We cannot have had the documents that are called as Vedas if it was not for our rishis. It is rishis darshana that is called as Veda. It is the vision of rishis that is called as Vedas. It is the experience of our rishis that is called as Vedas. It is not merely a text that we have been following. And we are calling this text, the Vedas, as Shiva. It means that we are not joking around. We are not, there are certain things that we try to exaggerate. You are the love of my life. There is a level of exaggeration for that. वो चलता है. Because both of them know, the one who is addressing it, the one who is listening to it, both of them know that it is a lie. But still, they are okay with that sort of exaggeration. But when it comes to Veda, nobody takes a chance. It's not something that we fool around. It's not something that we joke about. So if we are saying that Vedah Shiva and Shivo Vedah, that Veda is Shiva and Shiva is Veda, it just leads us to this conclusion that they are not at all joking around, they must mean something serious. How do we understand this? You remember, sometimes you may feel in the beginning that Tala illa Buddha illa, as they say in Kannada, like, what is he even talking? What is he even trying to build? Nobody knows, including me, nobody knows. You just have to sit through it. It's an old engine, it gets started. Once it gets started, it goes. Okay. So that literary theory that I was mentioning, which is usually used in English literary studies, for civilizational studies, they say that you have to look for the etymology of the word. The etymology of the word reveals the civilization that is associated with that word. Our Samskriti, it all starts, I'm absolutely fine with identifying ourselves to a certain extent until a certain time that we belong to Hindu Samskriti. Nothing wrong in that. That's a cute little word that our invaders gave it to us, and fortunately or unfortunately we have been stuck with that word. So nothing wrong in us in identifying ourselves as that. But wouldn't it be fine if we identified ourselves with the original word that we were called with? What is it that we were called by the original masters, by the aboriginals of this land? The aboriginals of this land are our rishis. What did our rishis call us? What was the name given to the people who dwelled, who lived and who walked in this land? Were they also called as Hindus? I'm afraid they were not. They were called as Bharatiyas. There is a reason why they were called as Bharatiyas. There is a reason why we need to identify ourselves as Bharatiyas. So from Hindu Samskriti, we slowly move towards realization that we are Bharatiya Samskriti. There is a pride. And all of a sudden, all the nationalistic approach will come in. Okay, hold your horses. Because the nationality, the nationalist approach is not going to cut the chase, because the very idea of nationalism was not even in its cradle when our rishis gave this land the greatest treasure, that is the Vedas. So then what should we call this? What is the ultimate name with which we can identify our Samskriti, our culture? Sanatana Dharma. That is the word, isn't it? Now I'm afraid that even that name has been politicized. So unfortunate. Yeah. And that brings me that, what is the next word that we should be using? I'm not going to reveal that word, I'll tell you. Because I'm afraid it will again be used for politicization. We are no more Bharatiyas, we are Sanatanis. Well done, yaar. You used one brilliant thing that we had and you put it to this use. Shabash. Okay. And if I tell you the next word, how exactly should we be calling ourselves? If you have ever come across a beautiful painting of all the great sages that this country has produced, around 40, 50 people in one frame, there is a line that has been written down there, a tagline kind of thing. They have given the title called as Amritasya Putraha. Please don't politicize this. Okay, I beg you. That is what we are. Amritasya Putraha. So we belong to that ideology that believes in Amritatvam, not the mere immortality that it is loosely translated into English. Now, what exactly is that Amritatvam, and why are we talking about Amritatvam on Shivaratri? Because Shiva means Amrita. It is Shiva who actually granted, in the Puranic stories we have heard it so many times, that it was Shiva who granted that Amritatvam. Otherwise, all of them would have been vanished. They would have gone. If it was not for Shiva who stopped the extermination of the entire mass by halahala, by holding it in his throat. What a remarkable feat that was. So coming back to this Amritatvam. Amritatva is what is hidden in the Vedas. That is the key point of Vedas. If we have to understand what is the key characteristic of Veda, all Veda have got only one message to deliver. If you want to decrypt the message of Vedas, the message of Vedas is loud and clear that it talks about Amritatvam. What is this Amritatvam? A few words on that, and then we will come back to Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. Okay, we are not going away from Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. The whole idea is, how do we get back to a state, a phase, a condition where we believe that Vedas are our ultimate text. Not just for saying it, but also to believe it and also to witness it and experience it on a daily basis. We can keep saying this. Vedas are our greatest national treasure. And what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Vedas are our greatest national treasure. That's all. It's like saying that my grandfather had acres of land in Bangalore. Yeah. What about it now? That you don't ask. My grandfather had acres of land in Sadashivnagar 70 years ago. What will you do now? You don't have a single piece of land anywhere in Bangalore. But your grandfather held acres together land. No, it is not going to cut the chase. So similarly, here as well, it is not going to be sufficient for us if we keep on saying that Vedas are our treasure. We need to bring that to our day-to-day life. And how do we do that? How do we bring about that auspiciousness, which is generally the preferred meaning for the word Shiva? Shiva means auspicious. It's a very difficult concept to understand. So, if I have to bring that auspiciousness into my daily routine, and if Vedas are the original source of that auspiciousness, how do we associate both of them? How do I make a blend of both of them in my day-to-day life? Welcome to Rudradhyaya. Okay? Because this entire Rudradhyaya focuses on the description of Rudra. For our Vedic rishis, Rudra was not merely a simple deity who has been praised here. Rudra is the Parabrahma Swarupa for our rishis. Whatever you gave our rishis, whatever they touched, they originally had the Midas touch. Everything they touched turned into gold, but our gold was of a different value. Everything and anything they viewed it as Parabrahma. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. Such a beautiful thought that has been captured by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. He who can witness the Paratattva, he who can witness the Paramatma Tattva in everything, and everything in Paramatma Tattva. Sarvancha mayi pashyati. That is the idea of Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. You observe, it is the same exact thing. There are few extra words added in Bhagavad Gita, that's all. When Bhagavad Gita said, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, you take aham and sarvatra. That is, aham tattva is Krishna and sarvatra is everything. Sarvatra is equivalent to Veda and aham tattva is equivalent to Shiva. He who sees Shiva in Vedas and he who sees everything in Shiva. That is the whole meaning of Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. which in other words has been told already in Bhagavad Gita, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati. What will happen to those people who could witness this? Sachame na pranashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami. The Paratattva or the Parabrahma will not alienate them, and they will never be far away from realization of the ultimate truth. What has caused the ultimate misery, apart from the first 25 minutes that I have spoken today to you? Okay, that was a bad joke, isn't it? Just checking whether all of you are still here or not. Okay. So what might be the reason that we are all so miserable in life? Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to admit that we are miserable in life, thanks to social media, because we have an image to protect, a fake image that we have created. There cannot exist a better example for Maya and avidya than social media. It is all created by us, and we believe that whatever I have created is true. I was in my teens, everybody was using this one word, wanderlust. I also put wanderlust. I have no idea what wanderlust means. Everybody was saying, I said, I am also a wanderlust. He has not moved from Banashankari to Baswangudi, stayed his entire life in Banashankari. His Instagram profile says wanderlust. I mean, such is the ridiculous idea of social media, where we have created a wrong image for ourselves, and it is resonating with our daily activities. That should not happen. And if we have to overcome this Maya, what is the way ahead? The way ahead is understanding, proper understanding of how exactly this Shiva Tattva exists in Veda, and how you can witness this Veda in Shiva Tattva. And for that, they have left behind a document that has been secured over all these years, which we call it as Rudradhyaya. Okay. And today, in the beginning, we all were part of that Sankalpa, where so many things were told. So many times what happens is we are not aware of those words. We belong to such a clan, human beings. You remember back in the childhood, I don't know about the youngsters nowadays, but back in our childhood, every Raksha Bandhan, it used to be one of the most dreaded day. Why? The men will understand. Why? Because they will make a stand in assembly line, and some teacher will give you an oath which you have to take. Put your hand like this and then say that all girls are mine, all boys and girls are mine. They will just hold it back. So similarly, when we talk about the Sankalpa which we do, we should be aware that for what purpose am I reading Rudra? For what purpose should I be reading Rudra? Oh, it gives me such a peace of mind. Okay, bro, understood. And then it is such a nice feeling. It has got such a nice ring to it. When I chant, I feel all heated up. All these vague yoga institutions which I have created, this aura about it that you chant and you feel so ecstatic about it. Okay, understood. But what is the ultimate purpose that you are trying to achieve or accomplish with this Rudradhyaya? I'll give it straight to you. The entire summarization of whatever words were spoken in the Sankalpa. It was a list of all the unspeakable things that a human being can commit. Anything, you name them. All the unspeakable things that a man can commit were told today. Oh, I am very pure and pious. No, I have never done such kind of... No, okay. We didn't mean that in this birth. You might have done this several births ago. Okay. Whatever we have done, if there is one exit point, if there is one extinguisher we have. I recently watched Nuremberg, so I'm very fond of using that word, exterminate, extinguish. Feeling a little bit Nazier, kind of thing. Oh, fine, sorry. I had to take that out of my system. So if we have to define what Shiva exactly means. Especially the way our rishis have envisioned, the way our rishis have experienced Shiva Tattva in the Vedas is that he is a Papa extinguisher. One time Papa extinguisher. All it takes is one proper chanting of Rudradhyaya. I want to share an anecdote. I was once, a senior Shishya, he went to my Guru and he told my Guru that I do 1008 Gayatri every day. No, really? How much time will you take for that? 45 minutes, 1008. You tell me how much should I do? Even more. I said, it's not a competition, first and foremost. Secondly, when you say that you do 1008 Gayatri Japa, what do you actually do? Chant the mantra as fast as I can. But is that the idea of Japa? Do you have any idea what does the word, each and every word mean in that mantra? Or how many letters are there in that mantra? What is the chandas of that mantra? Who is the rishi of that mantra? What is the connection between rishi, devata and chandas? Why exactly this sequence must be followed? What happens if we change the sequence? Where do we understand all these things? Welcome to Vedic studies. And this is exactly what the Veda Bhashyas explain. This is exactly why the Vedangas are in place. Why do you think Vyakarana was born in the first place? To help us understand the etymology, to help us understand each and every word properly. Why we have a Nirukta, that is etymological science. Exactly. And why is there phonetics, Shiksha? Because the way we have to pronounce, that itself should reveal all the meaning. And how do I pronounce the word in such a way that it reveals all the meaning to the person who is listening it? You imagine some famous gangster movie. You are at the pickup point, pickup location. There is a code word. Back in those days, they still used code words. Okay. Don't judge me, okay? These are all examples that I've taken from watching so many other movies. I have never been, no first-hand experience. Huh? Right. So, we are at the drop point or location and we are supposed to give a code word. One small wrong thing you do in the pronunciation of the code word, you will be eliminated. You remember all these movies, this scene? That's exactly what happens with Vedas as well. It's a coded language. And we can't take the coded language for granted. Ask the IT people. Yeah. They take their codes very seriously. So, we also take our codes very seriously. And that is Vedas. And the language has all of it put together. That is why we have Shiksha. And when we observe all the Vedangas, they all are trying to protect, preserve the actual content that is there in the Veda mantra. And if we want to understand what exactly and how exactly Shiva Tattva is being mentioned in the entire Rudradhyaya, in each and every mantra, what should we do? Ideally, you tell me what should we do. This is reverse marketing. What should we ideally do? We should read each and every mantra. But is reading going to be sufficient is my question. Keep on saying the mantra. No, it is not going to help us in any way. My guru used to give another example. There was an idiot fellow, in the family, okay, and the grandfather, he was very fond of that fellow. He thought that he requires some help. So all the wealth that the grandfather has accumulated over his life, he had kept in a secret space, in a safe space. And on his deathbed, he told him, he gave him a line. And that line sounded so musical to that fellow that he learned it by heart. Throughout his life, he kept on saying whatever his grandfather taught him. Okay. You can quote that for yourself. You can compose it for yourself. It doesn't matter. The content doesn't matter. The line doesn't matter. He never tried to understand what exactly that line meant. Do you think he would ever be able to harness the wealth, the treasure that his grandfather left him? He won't. Similarly, our ancestors, our rishis have left behind a treasure for us. That is Shiva Tattva. Because Veda is nothing but Shiva, Shiva is nothing but Veda. And they have left behind this brilliant Veda, brilliant Shiva Tattva with us. And what are we doing? Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah, Vedah Dhyayi Sada Shiva. See? We are preserving. Okay, but what is the next step? It's good that we have secured the code word. But securing code word is not everything. You have to open the key as well. You have to use that code to unlock the treasure as well. The treasure is in the Vedas. The key is with us. The key is Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. That is the key. The treasure is Vedas. What are we supposed to do next? What is our next step? The next step is very simple. Unlock. And how do we unlock it? By reading each and every mantra, by understanding each and every word, every syllable of that mantra. Then we will understand what a challenge it is to chant. Now, we recently did Ganesha Atharvashirsham. When we observe one line, when we understand the meaning of one line, it sounds magnificent. Yeah, I have understood. One day later, in the morning when I am chanting Ganesha Atharvashirsham, nothing. It is not even resonating with me. That's how far we are from the meaning, from digesting that meaning. So that's why, what should we do? We should not only hear it once, we should hear it many times. Keep on listening to it and keep on repeating it. That is exactly why they said Vedah Shiva was going to be sufficient. But no, they had to reiterate it by saying Shivo Vedah. So when you want to establish a truth, when you want to ascertain the fact, and you repeat it twice. It's as simple as that. And that's why Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. What exactly is the meaning of the word Shiva? 20 minutes on the dot. Okay. This is going to be the last 20 minutes where we will understand exactly, we will enter into the topic now. What exactly is the meaning of the word Shiva? We have been saying Shivaratri, Shivaratri. Okay, Shiva means God. First meaning. Okay, fine. We understand that. The one who wears bhasma, the one who is sitting on the bull, one who stays in Kailasa. We know all these descriptions. All of that is Shiva. But still the question remains, what is Shiva? My question is not who is Shiva. I have to read the question very correctly. The question is, what is Shiva? What makes whomever we are referring to Shiva? It's a very important question. This was taught to me by my high school English teacher. Oh, okay, no expressions. Oh. So, I did not understand when she asked the question, what are you? What sort of a question is that? But now I understand what is the meaning behind it. So we want to understand what makes it whatever we are claiming. I claim myself to be Vishwanatha. Really, if I asked myself, what am I? Then it will reveal to me, then it will come to me, then I have to work hard on that to understand what exactly made me Vishwanatha in the first place. Simple way. Where is it leading me? It is only leading me towards self-realization. Because one thing is sure with this phase, you put me in any topic, any field, the only outcome that will come is moksha. Because there is nothing else that is worthy enough to be talked about. All other things are secondary. The primary thing is moksha. This Rudradhyaya, which is quite famous, I'll give you the ultimate outcome. I told you, Papa extinguisher. It's not me saying. There is a question in Jabalopanishad. People go and ask Yajnavalkya, the Shishyas go and ask Yajnavalkya, I have written something, I have to look into the text, otherwise people think it's all theatrics. He did not even look into the text, simply brought that. Kinjapyena amritatvam naha. What is it that we should chant, or what is it that we do which will grant us amritatvam? You remember amritatvam? Why I started with amritatvam? It might have felt at that time that this fellow is talking something. No, it's all connected here. So, kinjapyena amritatvam naha. What should I do? What japa should I do which will fetch me amritatvam? What is the meaning of the word amritatvam? To rise above the status of being dead. Very simple. What is wrong with the status of being dead? Because the status of being dead leads to birth. Nobody told you that? Yeah, correct. Because we have been hearing only the other half of it. We all are aware that everything that is born shall die one day. There is no full stop there. There is a comma there. Everything that is dead shall be born again. Now you understand that you are stuck in an infinite loop. There is no way that you are going to escape. Birth followed by death, death followed by birth. So when they asked for amritatvam, what did they mean? They meant that tell us something that will take us above this infinite loop of birth and death. What should I chant? Yajnavalkya responds by saying that, see, the Jabalas, the Jabala Maharshi's Shishyas have actually said that Shatarudriyena. Shatarudriyam is the answer for that. You do the chanting of Rudra 100 times, you will be free of the samsara bandhana, you will attain moksha. Seriously, 100 times. Today, after the event, I'll go home, Shivaratri, 100 times I'll chant. Yeah, but along with the meaning, you need to understand the meaning of Rudram, no? So, once we understand the meaning, once we comprehend the meaning of the mantras and then we chant, it really leads us there. All the Mahapatakas that are told, any papa that you have done, it doesn't mean that you get eligibility to chant Rudra only if you have done such kind of papa karmas. That is not the conclusion. Even if you have committed such kind of papa karmas, if you chant Rudra, you will be fine. 3 things that all of us should listen on a daily basis. Namakam chamakanchaiva purusha suktam tathaivacha. That's all. Namaka, chamaka, that is 11 anuvakas of namaka, 11 anuvakas of chamaka, and then purusha sukta. These 3 are sufficient enough for us to get rid of all the papa. Okay. But how come this has this potential? Why is it called as Shatarudra? Because Rudra is the Devata there, therefore it is called as Shatarudra. What is the meaning of the word Rudra? Ruk means not stop, okay, that is in Hindi. Ruk means roga, okay. Of all the diseases, you know, I don't know if in the Kannada speaking families even to this day, whether they use this word or not. Adyen dodroga bandide ninge anta. Are you familiar with that word? You still use that? Yeah, fantastic. No? Adyen dodroga bandide ninge. What is this dodroga? Roga means illness. Dodroga means big illness. Sounds ridiculous in English when I translate it. But you know that intensity when a Kannada speaking family tells you, when an elder tells you, yen dodroga bandide ninge. It means that you are lost. You are not on the right path. So that is the Dodroga. Okay. What is the Dodroga that all of us have? Bhavaroga, Samsara Roga. That our inability to overcome this disease called as samsara, this infinite loop called as Janma and Marana, that is the biggest Roga that we have. How do we overcome that? Welcome to Rudra. We need to understand what exactly Rudra is. That's why they call this is the 5th chapter in the Krishna Yajurveda Shakha and Krishna Yajurveda Samhita, Daitriya Samhita, and where they mention the actual format of Rudra, how exactly Rudra should be perceived, how exactly should we perceive Shiva. They call this as Rahasyam. This entire Rudradhyaya is called as Rahasyam, and it has also fetched it another name, that is Rudropanishad. This is not a very popular name. We have only heard Namaka Chamaka, Rudra, Rudradhyaya. These are the popular names that we have heard. But the unpopular name that we are not aware of this text is, it is called as Rudropanishad. I am not making it up. You can go and check for yourselves in Bhatta Bhaskara Bhashyam of Rudradhyaya. See, reference, scholarship, tick. Okay. Moving on. Why should we take up Upanishad? And why Svabhaa Foundation is so fond of taking up Upanishad? That's a question, no? Why are we here assembled to listen about Rudradhyaya in future as well? What is it that makes the connection between Svabhaa and Upanishads? I'll tell you, it's a very important thing to know that the tagline is Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha. And you want to know what is the meaning of the word samsiddhi? You go and read Shankara Bhashyam, where Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya writes samsiddhim moksham. Samsiddhi, the meaning of the word samsiddhi is moksha. So we have to act in such a way that it should lead us towards moksha. If I am going to chant this Rudradhyaya, if I am going to learn this Rudradhyaya, the sole purpose for learning that is not to be part of a fancy community, not to be part of any competition. It is not meant for any of this. This is meant for Atmodhara. Please do not use it for Lokodhara. It's very strictly told. It is not meant for going and saying that, all these things need to be told to hundreds of people. No. Aapne suna hai, kafi hai. If you have heard it, if you have comprehended it, it is more than sufficient. Because it takes a lot of good fortune to be able to be exposed to Rudradhyaya. Because Shiva, even though he is called as Ashutosha, does not come that easily to us. Because what is the meaning of the word Shiva? I've been saying that, I have not given you the meaning, holding back on the meaning of the word Shiva. Here it comes. Shivam asya asti iti Shivaha. He who has that ability of auspiciousness, he who is a bundle of auspiciousness is called as Shiva. Meaning number one, first meaning. Shivayati iti Shivaha. He who has the ability to turn anything into auspicious is called as Shiva. That's why everything that is Veda is Shiva. Everything that is Shiva is Veda. Still doesn't fit the bill, isn't it? What do you mean by everything that is Veda is Shiva? We thought that there are only 4 Vedas, no? Rig Veda, Ajur Veda, Samveda, Atharvana Veda. Then we have Ayurveda. Then we have Gandharva Veda. Then we have Dhanur Veda. Then we have Natya Veda. Oh, it's not like, I'm fond of Bharatanatyam, that's why I'm saying Natya Veda. No. Natya Veda is called by that name by Bharata himself. Why are they called as Veda? There's a reason why they are all called as Veda, isn't it? Because they have a property of auspiciousness about them. Observe how Dhanur Veda, Ayurveda, Gandharva Veda or Natya Veda brings about that auspiciousness into our lives. It's all about actions. It's all about the simple things that we do in the name of Ayurveda, etc., etc. But all of it is doing one thing properly, that is auspiciousness. It is turning our life, it is making our life more beautiful. It is bringing that Mangalyam into our life. Mangalyam and Shiva, Mangala and Shiva are synonymous in nature. Mangala means that which removes our papa. Remember what is the definition that I told you for Rudradhyaya? Extinguisher, papa extinguisher. That is why. You can extinguish it, but you can also, in order to avoid rust on the iron, you put a coat of paint, isn't it? If my science knowledge is still valid, that's the practice. This is what it does. It coats that paint. Shivayati. It turns everything into auspicious, thereby eliminating the rust, eliminating the characteristics that can turn that metal into rust. That is what Shiva is all about. That is why Vedah Shiva. All that is Veda is called as Shiva. How come yoga is not Veda? Interesting, no? First thing that comes in, so popular. I want to start a school of my own. Okay, yoga school. I want a name for that. I'm looking for something which says Veda. I'll say Yoga Veda. Please don't do that. Okay, please don't do that. Because yoga is a sadhana, yoga is a darshana, yoga is an instrument, it's a way of experiencing the Veda. It's a tool, it's a path, it's a way to experience that Veda. There are 6 of them. That's why they are all called as darshanas. By the word, by the very definition, darshanas means the way we can experience them. Okay. So therefore, Shiva is the actual experience itself is called as Shiva. You don't believe it. In what all meaning the word Shiva is used. Amarakosha gives us this. Shiva, the word Shiva can be used in the meaning of moksha. Shivo moksha. First word they said. Shiva means moksha. Okay. Then Mahadeve. For Mahadeva as well, we use the word Shiva. Kilaka Graha Yoga Yoho. There is some Kilaka Graha and some yoga is also called as Shiva Yoga. Shiva. And then Balake. For young boys, the word Shiva is used. Guggulav. A particular product that is used in making scents. That is also called by the name Shiva. Vede. Veda itself is called as Shiva. It's a synonym for Veda. The word Shiva is a synonym for Veda. There is no difference between Veda and Shiva. Then in Sukhe Ksheme Jale. Sukha, the ultimate bliss, is called as Shiva. The ultimate prosperity, Kshema, is called as Shiva. The water is called as Shiva. That's why Abhishekam, Jalabhishekam. Why Jalabhishekam? Why liters of water wasted? Some people will come up with these kind of nonsensical thoughts, no? Because that is the representation of Shiva. Then another meaning for the word Shiva is Shete Anena Iti Shiva. That which brings everything to rest is called as Shiva. That which can bring a rest to all the miseries that we are experiencing in life. So you don't have to deal with all the minions of miseries, and not millions of miseries, minions of miseries. Not a slip of tongue, I meant it. Minions of miseries is not that we need to take care of. We need to only take care of the commander of misery. The commander of misery is samsara. You take care of that samsara, everything else will be taken care. That is why Shivo Mokshe. Shiva means moksha. The Paramadhyaya, the Paramalakshya, the Paramoddesha, the ultimate uddesha for learning Rudradhyaya should be moksha. Everything else is secondary. It's just like these HR people interviewing candidates. Why do you think you are a good fit to our company? Is that the right question that they ask? Yeah. Why do you think you are a good fit to our company? The same question the rishis will also ask you. Why do you think you are a good fit to Rudradhyaya? Because Guruji, I heard that Rudra is very nice. I want to have this, I want to have that. That's why I want to learn Rudra. Rejected. Good luck next time. That's what rishis will tell you. So therefore, your Rudradhyaya or your Vedadhyayana will not be Rishi certified. It can be certified by some school. Who cares? If it is not certified by Rishis, nobody cares. So if we want our Veda, if we want our Adhyayana, if we want our Rudradhyaya to be certified by Rishis, then we should go well prepared. I'm just preparing you for the interview that you may soon get with the Rishis. Because when the Rishis come calling, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. When the Rishis knock on your door and you say, no, I'm not yet prepared, can you please come tomorrow? No, they won't. You get one-time opportunity. And once in a lifetime opportunity is to learn Rudradhyaya. There is no better thing that a person can do in their life than learn Rudra Adhyaya. It may seem like a little bit of exaggeration, chalta hai. It's okay. Manavanagi huttid mele yenen kande, jogad gundi. If they can say something for joke false, that if you are born as a human being and if you did not see joke falls, your manava janma is vyartha. To that extent, if a lyricist can write and if an actor can portray it and if the masses can master it and mumble it for decades together, I think we can allow this much of exaggeration for rishis. If we really have to be very serious about our life, then we need to know that what is that ultimate purpose that we are missing out. I want to extinguish all the miseries from my life. If you want to do that, focus all your energy, target only one, samsara. That is the greatest roga that we have. And if we try to extinguish that, we will be done. And how do we extinguish it? By Rudra Adhyaya. Because that is what Shiva is. Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah. Because Veda is moksha, moksha is Veda. And if anybody tells that in our Vedas we have aerospace engineering, hota hai yaar. But that is not the purpose of Vedas, no. What is the ultimate purpose of Vedas? The ultimate purpose of Vedas is moksha. If anybody tells you otherwise, shoot them, figuratively. I am not promoting violence. No, well. So we have to set our life's goal very, very clearly. And for that, when we have such a grand opportunity passed on in our generations, through the generations it has been passed on, we still have it intact. The Rudra Adhyaya is still intact with us. And it will remain with us if we allowed ourselves, if we went inside it with that humility, with that humbleness, and if we seek the knowledge, we will be on the path of Veda, isn't it? We will be on the path of moksha. He who is on the path of moksha gets a title. People are very fond of title. Yogacharya, Yogapatu, Master of Yoga. What do you call a person who has dedicated his entire life for the pursuit of realization, for the pursuit of Atma Jnanam? Is there a title that we can also take home? Yes. Veda Adhyayi. Adhyayi means he who walks towards that moksha is called as Sadashiva. He is known as Sadashiva. Because you will never be away from moksha. No? You can never have a second thought. If you have started on the pursuit of moksha, you will always remain in the path of moksha. That is why Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah, Veda Adhyayi Sadashiva. There are many ways of approaching moksha. There are many ways of attaining moksha. See, nobody is arguing, sorry, I'll complete it in 2 minutes. Nobody is arguing that you cannot go to Mysore by taking the normal road. When you have an expressway, why would you want to take the regular road is my question. Isn't that a valid question? And if someone has the ability to pay the toll for the expressway, and if someone is in an urgency, there is an immediacy that they want to reach Mysore immediately, would they not prefer the expressway, or would they want to go through all the places, window shopping? Nobody prefers that, no? This Rudra Adhyaya, Veda, is the expressway. The rest is up to you. Nobody is asking you, nobody is denying you that you should not pursue other paths. Pursue all the other paths. Ultimately, you will have to come to Vedas. Because there is no other way but Veda. Because Veda is moksha, Veda is Shiva, Veda is Jnana. So when Bhagavad Pada said Jnana Deva hi Kaivalyam, that is only through Veda, no? How else can you attain that? What else is there? There is nothing else. It is impossible to have a second path. And when you get that opportunity, when that opportunity knocks on your door, and you put that sign, Nade Ba, you are missing out. It's a dreadful experience that you will be missing out on this wonderful journey of Rudradhyaya. A very brief outlook of what exactly Rudradhyaya is. See, Rudra is nothing but Brahma, Parabrahma. Parabrahma has three different forms. One is called as Karya, another one is called as Purusha, another one is Nirguna. Karya and Purusha. Karya is everything. This entire Vishwam, entire creation is Rudra. That view is also provided in Rudradhyaya. Then Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, the functions of this entire creation is explained through the Purusha form of Rudra. Again, the Rudradhyaya talks about it. Rudradhyaya also talks about the Nirguna Parabrahma form of Rudra. Therefore, in one chapter, in 11 Anuvakas, we get all of this in a pill kind of thing. It will be summarized, it is put in all of them. There is one beautiful mantra which is part of the bigger Rudradhyaya. Vishwam Bhutam Bhuvanam Chitram Bahudha Jatan Jayamanam Chayat. Vishwam, all that exists, all that previously existed, Bhutam, Bhuvanam, the 14 lokas, Chitram, all that appears to be different and varied in the world. Bahudha Jatam, that which has been repeated, that which has evolved hundreds of times in hundreds of different ways. Bahudha Jatam, Jayamanancha, that keeps on happening. Whatever is there. Sarvo Hyesha Rudraha, that is what Veda says. Sarvo Hi Esha Rudraha, all of that is nothing but Rudra. Vishwam Bhutam Bhuvanam Chitram Bahudha Jatam Jayamanam Chayat Sarvo Hyesha Rudraha. And then Tasmai Rudraya Namostu. Look at the mantra, look at the intensity of that mantra. And each and every time we hear this mantra, we chant this mantra, I should be having that ability to see that this entire creation is nothing but Rudra. Sarvo Hyesha Rudraha Tasmai Rudraya Namo Astu. So to that Rudra, I am going down. We keep this small Ishvara Linga in front of us and we think that we are doing pranama to this Ishvara Linga. Not wrong. Not wrong. This is just a beginning point. And if I want to stick in the beginning point itself, we used to have a running joke when we were students. I personally had this kind of joke. I was very brutal, I was very bad in terms of a student. I used to ask some people, in which class are you studying? Like how, young children, you interact with young children and you go and ask them that, in which class are you studying? They'll say, I'm studying in 5th standard. Which year? It's very bad to their confidence, isn't it? What do you mean, which year? I thought that you were studying 5th standard for 5 years. You are that dumb. Needless to say, but you can hurt their confidence like this. No? So, not like that. But when we actually take a look at this mantra, what are we supposed to do? How much, what percentage of mantrartha did I get into my head? If I am not getting even 1% of that mantrartha into my head, you tell me honestly, what is the use of chanting that mantra? There is no use. So whether we are listening to the mantras, whether we are chanting the mantras, if we do not know the meaning, if we have never even attempted to comprehend the meaning of that mantra, then we are no less than donkeys. This is not me saying, this is Sayanacharya who said this. Bharavaho Gardabhaha said that a donkey carrying weight on its back. Nevertheless, it is carrying, but it doesn't matter whether it carries a load of dirty clothes or tons of gold. It doesn't matter to it. We have been carrying tons of gold and we have been donkeys for years. The time to wake up, the time to realize that I have been sitting on a gold mine. The gold mine is Rudradhyaya. We have been sitting on that gold mine for all these years. The time has come for us to unlock it by understanding, by reading each and every word, by understanding and comprehending each and every mantra of Rudradhyaya. This serves as just what is the potential of Rudradhyaya. If you do Shatarudriya, you will get moksha, true. only if you comprehend it and do. If you don't comprehend it and do Shatarudriya 100 times, well done to you. You have a lot of wealth. Okay. But for no use. The best thing is, or the better thing to do is comprehend the meaning of all the mantras of Rudradhyaya and do the Shatarudriyam once. Finished. Some people, I'll give you the greatest example, how to manage your greatest resource. What is the greatest strength that Rama had when Sita was abducted by Ravana? Or during their 14 years of exile, what was the greatest weapon that Rama had with him? His brother. Lakshmana was the greatest weapon that he had. And when did Rama put Lakshmana on the battlefield? Not when 14,000 men attacked. Not when they had to defeat Vali. Not when they had to cross the ocean. Not when they had to defeat Kumbhakarna. Not when they had to defeat the armies of Ravana. Not even when Ravana had to be defeated. You know, when Lakshmana was put to use, when he had to defeat Indrajit, because Indrajit was invincible. When you have the greatest resource with you, you hold on to that card for a long time and you use it at the right time. You don't have to extinguish all the papas. You don't have to extinguish all the miseries. You want to get rid of minions, get rid of Gru. Yeah, you will get it. Yeah. And if you have watched the movie, you will get it. Yeah. You don't have to get rid of minions, you just have to get rid of Dr. Gru. No, it's not Dr. Gru. Just simply Gru, isn't it? Yeah. You get rid of that despicable one and the minions will be gone. The despicable one that we have is samsara. And he who releases us from this samsara is Shiva. With these thoughts, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much for having me again this year as well. I hope that our association will continue like this.
Vedah Sivah Sivo Vedah, Vedadhyai Sadashiva. So that has gone in, sir. Thank you so much for the enlightening talk. Let me actually thank both Dr. Guha Vishwanath and Kashi Vishwanath for what's been a wonderful talk on Mahashivratri Day. For those who are keen to pursue Rudradhyaya, as he explained, it's a very serious one. We have an upcoming course led by Vishwa sir. It starts next week. It will be for a duration of 4 months. It will run till 28th of June. It will be on Sundays for 1.5 hours. So for those of you who are keen, we have you can have a chat with us here, organizers, for more details. For those who have connected online, we are just going to be pasting the details on the chat. The timing and the course fees, all of those details can be available on WhatsApp. Let me conclude by thanking Vishwa sir, thanking the Banagiri temple authorities. Let me thank Skyline for the amazing AV visual quality they've produced this time. Let me thank Tickle, our ticketing partner. And last but not the least, let me thank all of you assembled here, as well as those who have connected online with us. Thank you, and Om Namah Shivaya. Happy Mahashivratri once again. Inviting Neil and Dr. Savita to give a token of our appreciation to Dr. Vishwa.
Sir will tell how many classes. March 1st term, 24 classes.
Just a brief outlook of the course. It would be much better if I had a screen and you showed the PPT and everything, but I'm just reading it out. There will be 20 classes which will take for us to complete the entire Rudradhyaya. First first session would be on the Anubandha Chatushtaya of Rudradhyaya, basically the objective quadruple of Rudradhyaya, and then from there onwards each and every Anuvaka will be taken until 15th session. Only Rudra Namakam, until 15th session Rudra Namakam will be covered. Because the Chamakam is not that difficult in the sense, it is not that large in comparison with Namakam, therefore it is much easier to go through. Whereas 15 sessions are dedicated for Rudra Namakam. So if you are interested, you can definitely register for the Rudradhyaya. It's a 20-session program run only on Sundays. Now, why Sunday? Because Sunday is meant for Shiva, isn't it? You thought that it is going to be a weekend, that's why we have chosen that. No, not like that. So Shiva is associated with Surya, Adityatmaka Surya. That's why we have Dwadasha Jyotirlingas. No? What is the connection between, ideally we have heard Dwadasha Adityas, 12 Adityas, but we don't have Ekadasha Rudras. If it was only about Rudra, then how come we have 12 Jyotirlingas? How come it's not 11 Jyotirlingas? The 12 Jyotirlingas are representative of the 12 Suryas, 12 Adityas. Okay, so similarly, it is much more endearing to us if we listen to Rudradhyaya on a Sunday. Okay. And as it coincidentally happens, it also fits well with our daily schedule as well, because Sunday, most of the times it happens to be a weekly off for all of us. So that way it works. So 20 sessions will be there, and some chanting will also be arranged simultaneously, or through some other channels, through some other mediums, it will also be arranged. However, the most time of that entire 1.5 hour session will be dedicated for comprehending and understanding the meaning of each and every word of Rudradhyaya. Anybody who attends will not go home without understanding the meaning of each and every word of Rudradhyaya. So a once in a lifetime opportunity is what I would call this. So it's fascinating for me as well. I'm not saying it because I am doing it. I'm saying it because it's a good opportunity for all of us to go through this Rudradhyaya. So it would be very nice if all of you, and along with your many friends and associates, if you all joined, it would be very nice.
Thank you. I thank all of you for assembling here, and also all our online participants. We'll put up a message, and you can get in touch with us. And I request all of you to proceed for a short break. We'll have badam milk, and then we'll start the Rudra Homa, Rudra Abhisheka, and Rudra chanting. Thank you all once again. Thank you so much, sir.